So detach from your item for a minute and ask yourself, how much would you be willing to pay for this in a second-hand store? Hey everyone, welcome back to the Atypical Declutter Game. My name is April and you are at Atypical Life. Today is day 22 and this is about ownership bias. Understanding this bias has given me a completely new perspective on the things that I own, how I interact with them, and it's given me another tool in my toolbox to help me declutter more efficiently and effectively. First off, what is a bias? According to Wikipedia, a bias is a disproportionate weight in favor of or against an idea or a thing. Disproportionate weight in favor of an idea or a thing. So the takeaway here really is that bias is an error. We're over-evaluating something in favor of it being more valuable than it is. It's a mistaken evaluation of a situation, and we all do it a lot. Being aware of your bias helps you to make better decisions over time because it reminds you to double check yourself, challenge your thinking, and bring more logic into the current situation. So what is ownership bias? It's the behavior of attaching more value to an item. So specifically, we're talking about ownership bias. What is ownership bias? It is the tendency to attach more value to an item simply because we own it. That's it. Think about all the people that you know or see on eBay asking way above market value for things. Have you ever been to a yard sale where they are asking for prices that are the same or more then you can go to the store and buy it? It is so much easier to see ownership bias in other people than in ourselves, but the truth is, study after study shows that we all do it. Why is this important to us and our clutter? Well, because a lot of us, me included, are holding on to things because we think that they are more valuable than they are. They're more valuable to us, they're more valuable to other people. We're holding on to them because we would maybe sell it, but somewhere in our subconscious, we know that we're never going to get the money for it than we think it's worth. According to Casey Barr, the mere ownership effect has been attributed to a number of factors, including the endowment effect, which is the tendency for people to demand more to give up an object than they would be willing to pay to acquire it. And then loss aversion, the tendency for people to feel the pain of a loss more acutely than the pleasure of the gain. And then there's the self-identity theory, which is the idea that people derive part of their sense of self from the objects that they own. I felt that was a really cohesive statement, so I didn't want to try to reword it. I just wanted to put it out here and then maybe put it into context. So first we have the endowment effect that prevents us from parting with an item for a reasonable amount. And maybe if we step back for a moment and actually did the research, we went to eBay and we actually checked the solds instead of what people have it listed for. We have a yard sale and see what people are willing to pay before they just walk away shaking their heads at us. We go to a consignment store and see what you're willing to pay for a similar secondhand item. That's something that I like to do as I'm decluttering. What would I pay for this, knowing that it's used? Then we have the aspect of loss aversion, which I think is ultimately behind our inability to declutter and make decisions of what stays and what goes, because we're afraid that we're going to experience a sense of loss and regret more than the daily joy of having less chaos in our space. And then lastly, the self-identity theory, which we've touched on a few times, but mainly in the Owning a Pickle video. So today let's take a moment to reflect on anything that we're holding on to because of some perceived value, and take a minute to do some research or get some opinions about what the item might truly be worth. If you don't think that you're holding out for top dollar for any of the items that you own before you can let them go, then maybe today's exercise could be to look at the item that you are struggling with and think about whether or not you would purchase the item again, and ask yourself, how much would you be willing to pay to own it again? Another question would be to ask yourself, could the daily joy of not having to deal with or dread dealing with this item be greater than the regret if you had to replace it at a later date. So that's all I have today about ownership bias. I think that it's a concept that we all kind of intuitively understand, but sometimes it helps when we actually look at maybe a more psychological or scientific explanation of it. Sometimes it helps us see it more as a general pattern than just an abstract thing. So let me know if any of that was helpful for you. Obviously, that's why I'm here, is to help you, help me, help each other. And yeah, I've just really appreciated doing this series and spending this time with you guys. So I will see you guys again in the next one. Don't forget about the other social media, the hashtag Atypical Declutter on Instagram. You can join in and post pictures there anytime. Show me what you're decluttering, please. I would love to see it. I'd love to talk about it. Yeah, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.